once you got around their box, just that last pass, that last shot just wasn't there. How do you go about fixing that in the weeks ahead?
Well, look, it's the players we've got, so we need to find a way. I think the players we've got can show more and do more. There's some good players there. There's obviously some players that have just come in who are a bit underdone. But look, it's all we can do is work hard and keep pushing. Again, it's not great. We've now lost 3 games out of 4. But if we start to panic now and change things drastically, it's not going to help anyone. We've got to stay calm. We've got to find that first win starting next week at home to Perth, and just do the things that we do well. We didn't do that today. We stayed in the game brilliantly, in my opinion. We weren't poor in the first half, but we actually made some poor mistakes in poor areas of the park, which nearly gifted Western United with a goal or 2. We were brave in those moments and hung in the game. And then to start the way we did in the second half to concede a goal was really disappointing. And at that point, you're looking for more from our boys. And we showed good passages of play, but, no cutting edge. No one wanted to take a strike on goal. No one wanted to run 1v1 with their fullback and get in behind them. So that's where we need to improve.
So was that the rationale behind putting Steinman higher up the pitch? Is that where you see him more going forward? Look,
I think we had to make changes. I think we were... Jesse was fatiguing. You could see some of the boys at the top. So we need fresh legs. And when you're chasing the game and Western United are sitting deep, I don't think there was any need to put Matty on deeper. I think we may as well put more bodies forward. And that's why we put Matty on a little bit higher, a little bit more advanced. He was still dropping to receive. We were rotating our midfield 3. But again, it's really difficult once you're 1-0 down with 20 to go against a well-organised, well-drilled side who play a deep block. To try and break them down. So you're better off having players ahead of the ball than behind it.
Looking at the past few weeks, especially with this game in context as well now, how much do you think starting positions for particular players are impacting that ability to really warp defences?
Look, we've changed shape tonight. That's we've been looking at that for a while now. We're stuck with a 3. We're quite flexible with our shape. We felt like we wanted to get more attackers on the park, be a bit more proactive. But we just need to be better and use the ball better. I think it's, there are things that we need to go and do behind closed doors. But right now, I just feel like we need to analyse this game, see where we need to improve, and we're going to do that. We're going to work hard. Having said all that, there was still the defensive adjustment midway through the first half. How interdependent do you think, those phases of play from, looking at a defensive and attacking standpoint are? Sorry, say that again. Sorry, how interdependent are, the defensive and attacking, let's say, fallibilities, if you want to call them, in your game so far? Look, we're missing some key players. We're missing Tom. And, I feel like if you look at the chances we gave up in the first half, one was a needless pass playing out from the back. 2 chances came, I think, because we just didn't clear our lines from across into the box, which are straightforward. Things that we would expect to do well. And I think once they maybe overloaded and caught us out on one side and got a good chance. So, look, I think on the whole our structure was fairly good in the first half. I think little basic key areas of the game is what's causing us issues. And if we can defend those better, whilst use the ball better, I think we're going to obviously look to see improvement in our side.
Corey Brown was an injury and forced substitution just a few minutes before United's goal. Do you have an update? What's happened to Corey?
Yeah, look, I think he's rolled his ankle, or there's some kind of ankle damage. So, again, it's disappointing because we made the change. We're hoping he could go on, and I think within 3 or 4 minutes the goal comes from down that side. So, and look, and no one's saying it wasn't deserved. No one's saying that Western United weren't worthy for their win. But we made that change, and I was really disappointed with how we reacted in those 3 or 4 minutes after the change was made, because from our perspective the goal was very avoidable.
Do you think he'll be okay for next week against Perth? Or?
I think it's too early to say. I mean, at this stage he's in there getting treatment now, so I'm not too sure.
Okay. And looking at your run of form, not able to score today, that's now 3 games without a goal. Your side, what does the message have to be to your side moving forward, just so they don't drop their heads surrounding this? Obviously they need to improve, but at the same time you don't want them to spiral and start getting in their own heads. How do you balance that?
Well, it's very simple. We're a competitive bunch of guys, staff and players, and if we want to allow that to enter our focus, then we are going to lose more games and we're going to spiral. It's fact. I mean, you look at last season, it happened to Melbourne Victory and other sides. So we can do something about it. We can try and fix it. We can try and find a way out of this. You know, we can point to the negatives and say, well, if it keeps going, we're going to obviously continue to lose games, or we can look at the positives. And then you look at Wellington Phoenix 2 years ago. I think they had 1 point in their first 5 and finished third. Adelaide a few years earlier, I don't think they won the game in their first 9 and won the grand final. So it just depends on our mindset and how we want to find a way out of this. I could sit here and bullshit you and say that we were great today. No, we weren't. We were nowhere near good enough. We know that as a collective, and our confidence is low. But all we can do now is go back and work hard. Go back to Brisbane, prepare for Perth, get 3 points, and all of a sudden the mood's lifted. The confidence maybe is raised, and we can build on that. And that's all we really can do.
With all that in mind, how do you think Daly went today? There was that initial, let's say, deployment higher on the pitch, and then he moved deeper, and then heavily contributed to the goal you conceded. How do you think he was able to, let's say, feel his way through the game?
I thought he was actually quite good. He did the role for the team, and yes, he contributed in that moment where we conceded the goal, but there were others as well. So, again, from our perspective, it's a poor goal to concede. We gave the ball away. We had 2 opportunities to win that ball back. In that moment, we didn't. We weren't aggressive enough in that moment. So, it wasn't just Jess. It was a collective. So, but again, I'll go back to it. We just need to be better in all areas of the park, with and without the ball.
All good? Anything on Zoom? Anyone Zoom? Nothing on Zoom? Sorry? All good, Matt? All good, mate. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Thanks, man.